So quite a while ago, I created the very first Bayern Munich football-based Fernbus Coach Simulator reskin. Off the back of that, many football coach reskins have now been made, and the idea for this DLC was born. Unlike all previous DLCs, this one does not simply comprise cosmetic changes or new content. It totally reworks Fernbus Coach Simulator's core components in a way that many existing fans of the title have been crying out for since its release. Few believed it would ever materialise, but here it is. This is the Bundesliga DLC, and yes, this is a total game changer. Today, I'd like to thank TML-Studios for allowing us early access to review the newest DLC for Fernbus Coach Simulator. I will be making two reviews for this DLC, one depicting everything that's wrong with the DLC in my opinion, and this one where I depict everything that is right with the DLC in my opinion. The price for this DLC is unknown at present, but it is speculated to release at the end of August 2018, and I expect it to be less than £20. Please note that this is currently in closed beta, and as such everything you see and everything you hear is subject to change. The first thing you need to do with the DLC is to create your profile. Once the DLC has been installed, you will see a new option within the main menu called Bundesliga DLC. Clicking on this will load the options to start a new game, and here you can name your profile. At present, you can only have one profile at a time, but I expect this to change in the future. It's not too difficult to change, and for me at least, it seems like a logical one. Next, you get to pick your team. Each team comes with its own fixed monthly paid budget, and this budget will obviously make your job harder or easier. I'd like to see the bigger clubs become more demanding, but I'll cover this a bit more later. And although this DLC is not officially licensed, all of the teams from the Bundesliga are available, and each team has a creatively named stadium, and they all look excellent. Each team also has a new, fully redesigned coach, complete with skins that get dirty over time. Designing skins to this level of detail was simply not possible when I created the first Bayern Munich reskin. I'm glad to see that this has changed, and I hope that these new designs become available to the community so that we can also upgrade our own reskins. Incidentally, you can use any coach that you own and any reskin that you have available. Unfortunately, at least at the moment, it seems there is no way to change this mid-season, something I hope to see change, but at the moment at least it doesn't seem to be a possibility. Once you have selected your team, you will spawn in their stadium car park, right next to your coach. You will be surrounded by other coaches as well, but you'll have no control or access to these. Each stadium has an office and a match day entrance. This is where you can actually go in and watch the home and away games progress. By entering the office, you will be presented with your communications, finances, and coach stats. You'll have emails to send and receive emails for various things, including hotel bookings, garage maintenance, and repairs. You'll also have a calendar with which you can plan your schedule around your team's home and away games. You'll also schedule your maintenance tasks here too. There is also an interesting but almost, I'd say, pointless social networking aspect on the right hand side here, where the players from your team will comment on their most recent performance. I think this is something of a red herring. Maybe it will develop in time into something a bit more, but honestly, I don't think anyone would miss it if it wasn't there. Coach maintenance, though, is a brand new aspect for Fernbus, and it includes the following features. Coach inspections. This basically is for general wear and tear on internal components. These components degrade over time, and unfortunately, they're not currently linked to external damage. I hope this is something that will change. So if, for example, you manage to roll the coach 3 times on the motorway, you'll find that none of your tyres, your suspension, or anything internally is in any way damaged. This is obviously not very realistic, so hopefully, in time, this will be changed. You will also need to arrange repairs for any external body parts that have become damaged, and you can see that the coach is split into separate sections, and each of which can take their own level of damage, but that also contributes to the overall damage of the bus or coach. At present, damaging the bus has absolutely no bearing on the bus handling whatsoever, but I have it on very good authority that this is something that's going to be patched in very soon and should be there for release. But unfortunately, as it isn't available at the moment of making this review, I cannot confirm or deny whether that's A, any good, or B, even working. Another responsibility entirely in your hands is keeping the coach clean. Now, this is an external thing, not internal, which is a bit of a shame. I'd like to see bits of rubbish littered about on the inside of the bus that you need to go and clean and tidy after each event. But the external elements of the bus do get progressively dirty over time. I think I'd like to see more done here as well. I'd like it to be more progressive. Generally, coaches get dirty from the bottom up rather than the top down, but this seems to be very much a either it is dirty or it isn't dirty kind of situation. I'd also like to see weather affect how quickly a coach gets dirty. I have to say, I love how this is a thing now, and the animation where you actually take the bus to a coach cleaning station and get it cleaned, that's pretty darn cool. You also get feedback from the players about the cleanliness of the coach, so this is a really important factor. You are also responsible for providing drinks and snacks. Now, you can buy drinks and snacks from various locations, the main supermarket, and even the petrol stations on the Autobahn. I especially like the fact that they have opening and closing times, and they appear to be closed at weekends. This is something that used to be a thing in the UK. Sundays used to be lovely, but now everything's open all the time, which in my humble opinion is a bit of a shame. Now, I'm not sure if that's something that actually exists in Germany still. I do kind of hope that it is a reality and not just something that's in the game. But let me know in the comments section if you know the answer to that. It might be cool, in my humble opinion, to have an alternative vehicle in order to do the shopping. Maybe a van or an estate car perhaps. If this isn't something that TML will provide themselves, then maybe when the modding tools become available, we'll have some nice mods to do exactly that. Essentially though, your main task is to ensure that the team arrive at the correct stadium for their away games. Home games do not require you to do anything, but you can go and watch the match if you want to. This can also be skipped if you don't. Now, one of the coolest features, for me at least, is that sometimes the team will decide to travel via the train or even plane. This is presumably faster and more comfortable for them, which makes them feel more refreshed and gives them a better result in the game. You, on the other hand, will need to book a hotel, arrive the day before and stay the night. Then you'll need to wake up in the morning and pick them up from the train station the next day and take them to the match. As part of my testing during the closed beta, I had to travel 900 kilometers, stay the night in a hotel. This is possibly one of the longest journeys available in the game. I had to wake up early the next day. I found a local wash station, I cleaned the coach, and I also popped into a shop and made sure that everything in the coach was in absolutely tip-top condition. Then I picked the team up from the train station, took them to the match, watched the game, I think we won the game, and then after all of this, I had to drive the entire team back 900 kilometers, and that took us right through into the night. It was absolutely brilliant. During that journey, I actually tweaked and played with my video settings and I got it to run really well, and everything was brilliant, and I'm making a new video showing my best and highly recommended Fernbus Coach Simulator setups. So yeah, watch out for that, guys. It was an absolutely brilliant journey. I loved it so much. The only thing that went wrong is that I ran out of fuel. Now, I wasn't really paying attention because I've never run out of fuel in this game ever, so it's really nice to see that that is now a feature. Needless to say, the manager was not best pleased. They had to send a vehicle with enough fuel to get me to the next gas station, and obviously that all came out of my budget. After each drive, you will receive feedback for your performance. This will be positive and negative things, and it will take into account speeding, collisions, driving style, cleanliness of the coach, and any fuel mistakes that you might run into. They even highlight forgetting to lock the bus, although this is a feature that I think needs more work. I would like to see an overall manager satisfaction gauge here. It's not in the beta, but hopefully, maybe, if you are really lucky, it will be available for release. The coach also takes external damage, as mentioned earlier. At the time of this review though, the damage does not affect handling at all. I do have it on good authority that this is going to be coming in a beta patch very soon and should be ready for you guys on release day. To have damaged repaired, you will need to email the local repair shop and book the coach in. Then you will have to drive the coach down to the repair shop and try to squeeze it in. I'm telling you now, some of them are extremely tight. Your final responsibility is to empty the chemical toilet. It's not the nicest job in the world, but probably one that you should try and at least keep on top of. All of this maintenance costs money, and as you have a budget which was set out when you first picked the team, not sticking to your budget will result in the manager having to give you a small amount of additional funds to try and keep you in the black. Now be warned, after 3 strikes, you'll be out. And not only will you be out, you will be banned from driving for that team for the next 12 months. And you'll have to start the season again with a different team. Now there are some areas I would like to see more detail, and the schedule is one such place. At present, and I hope all this will change, there are no kickoff times for match day, so you've no idea when you're meant to be there, what is your deadline, and what implication does it have to your job security if you arrive late to a game? What implications does it have on the team if you arrive late or have an accident en route? I find this to be especially prevalent when staying in a hotel the night before and trying to arrange your wake-up time. If you don't know what time the team's supposed to be at the football stadium, how do you know what time you need to wake up? At the moment, you can only schedule 1 week in advance, which is a bit of a shame, and you cannot schedule repeated tasks as a result of that. I think a change here would really enhance the gameplay flow. This is just my opinion, but I think it's something that TML might need to look at. I'd also like to see matchday details in the schedule available on hover instead of having to click and view it in a separate window. These are small changes and should be easy to implement. I hope to see some of it in the release. Now this is all in closed beta and I hope it will be changed for released. That being said, simply having a schedule and knowing where you need to go is a great addition to the game. It gives your drive some meaning. The destination depicted by someone else but managed by you adds so much more to the gameplay and the realism element of Fernbus. One change, although not directly related to this DLC, that has really pleased me is better coach physics, especially around acceleration and climbing hills. I would now like to see the same thing applied to AI trucks. I'd like to see them behave the same way, because when I'm trying to overtake a truck and the weight of my coach slows me down as I'm going up the hill, they just carry on without any implications whatsoever. And okay, I understand that cars can do that, but I'd at least like to see trucks and other coaches impeded by the same physics that we are. But something I'd really desperately like to see that I never even realised before is the fact that AI cars have absolutely no headlights. I've never noticed that before, but now that I've seen it, I simply cannot unsee it. And finally, this is a closed beta. So I've noticed that XP doesn't appear to be affected by anything that you drive. I'm hoping that in the full release, anything you do in the DLC will also count towards your overall XP. I drove 2,000 kilometers on one journey and it earned me absolutely nothing. Still, This is a great addition to Fernbus Coach Simulator. I'd like to see more management aspects included as we move forwards, and as the upcoming Fuerteventura is due for release pretty darn soon and expected to include a more in-depth business management model, it would be a reasonable request. Perhaps we might see more of this kind of content in Fernbus 2. Either way, this is a massive step in the right direction and makes Fernbus feel more alive. I'd say this is a must-have for all existing Fernbus owners, and certainly one to consider for those who are teetering on the fence as to whether or not to buy. As any of my regular viewers will already know, I am a massive fan and advocate for Fernbus Coach Simulator. I would highly recommend this game to anyone interested in coach simulation. I also owe it to you, my community, to tell you the bad things with the good. I don't pretend it's not there, and I don't forget to mention it. I certainly don't gloss over it. It is my hope that providing both positive and critical analysis for you, you can make an informed purchase, but I also hope that providing this critical analysis helps development teams to highlight issues and hopefully address them. I have done this many times before, and development teams have made the game better. I make these detailed reviews to help and benefit all gamers and developers alike. I do this for free, and if this review has helped you today, then I do ask you to consider a one-off or once-a-year contribution for whatever you can afford. This will help support SimUK and make sure that we don't disappear from the YouTube platform. It will help us to continue to make more in-depth, honest, fact-based reviews. Not all companies are considerate enough to provide access to their games like TML have done today. So in order to review the games that you want to be reviewed, we need to buy them. By contributing as little as a cup of coffee allows us to bring you more reviews like this and potentially saves you money, and most importantly perhaps, makes games better in the future. I thank you so much for your time. I hope this has been helpful for you. Take care. Till next time. Goodbye for now. Just going to take a short break right now to say a big thank you to all of you who support SimUK. Without you, there is no SimUK. Your donations are never expected, never demanded, but always, always hugely appreciated. Thank you guys so much.